Hey Simon.
Hey, Suzanne. How are you doing, my dear?
Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Um, hmm, Not quite sure what to say. Um, I got last week. I got super curious about this whole mechanism of selfing, and so I just started watching when I had a sense of self, and then other times when I had no sense of self. And I was just kind of watching the whole thing. And to be honest, I'm a little. I can tell I'm going to struggle for words, but um, oh boy. You know how to say this. Um, all of a sudden, some part of me, I was like, I guess, listening to you and other teachers, I kind of had unconsciously set up this goal of, oh, no self is the goal, right? And all of a sudden, I thought, oh, wow, this space of awareness is self occurs in that space, and in that space, there's no self. So
Hmm.
this little formation of self, Simon, shows up and does its thing. And sometimes it's really upset. And like I had about 2, 3 days of, after that, a couple of days of like really strong depression and fear and I don't know, some other emotion, frustration. Oh my God. But the whole time I kept just going, oh, I just sort of drop into my body more. And I was like, oh, the emotion is not a problem. It's not the problem. It's not, it never has been. It's just something that the body's doing. It's sort of, I don't know what it's doing. It's just doing that. It's having a reaction somehow to this loss of control or recognition of loss that there's no control or something. And it's just having a kind of a fit. But the whole time, I was just all I had to do is like look just a tiny bit, and it's all happening in without any effort on my part. It's all happening just in awareness, and it was like, wow, no problem, zero
Hmm.
problem at all. And
Yeah.
it's kind of almost kind of fascinating. And I kept thinking of you because you use this lovely word all the time. You just did this innocence
Hmm.
of all this stuff, and I was like, wow, it's just so innocent. It's just the mind is, you know, thought it was sort of in control or wanted to be in control. And now it's seeing that maybe it's not, and it's frustrated and angry and fearful. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, but that doesn't make it true.
Mm.
That doesn't make what it thinks. It thinks, oh, I'm losing control. It doesn't make it true. It's just a thought mechanism thrown up and an
Mm.
emotion in the body, and that's it. It's just, and then it passed. It was 2 days of super intense, really intense. I had to tell my girlfriend, I said, oh, yeah, just so you know, I feel really depressed and fearful and all that stuff. Don't take it personally. I'm fine. I'm fine, but this is what's going on.
Mm.
And uh, and then it passes. And I was like, I can't take it seriously.
Mm.
I cannot take it seriously.
Nice.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Emotion doesn't matter. There's nothing true about it. It's just
Yeah.
it's just it's hilarious and beautiful and beautiful also.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really fascinating when you can so clearly just notice it like that.
Yes, stunningly fascinating. Like
Yeah.
wow. And how did I not see that before?
Hmm.
How did I not see that before? So somehow I think I was, even, I mentioned to you, I think I like 5 years ago, I had this awakening, and you would think that I would have enough clarity just from that, but no, I still sort of got caught in this. Oh, that emotions are something to work through, and then finally you get to the end of the emotions and you've resolved everything. And I
Mm,
just realized, no, that it's irrelevant. It doesn't have anything to do with anything.
mm,
Emotions can be there or not. It's just irrelevant.
yeah.
Yeah, is that the ring
Well, yeah,
true?
I think what can happen is when we're starting to do emotional work, we're becoming more aware of why we're so not in touch with the body.
Yeah.
And we're learning that actually the mind is keeping us away from the body because
Yes.
it thinks that that's safety
Yeah.
by
Totally.
going that way. But
Totally.
you have to, it does take a bit of time to reverse that
Yeah.
because since
And
the
there's a
early,
surrender in that.
yeah, yeah. Because
Sure.
since the
Sure.
early age, not only is it the natural response in the body to go outward,
Yeah.
but we're constantly told that either we're not important or we're neglected in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So then we end up suppressing our own. We
Yeah.
don't know what we want. We don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
So then to kind of shed some light on that and see that actually it's important to be in touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
That does take a bit of time, it seems.
Yeah. 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 That sounds right. Yeah. To fully acknowledge the emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to not fear them.
Yeah, exactly. And not fight with them or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Because
it's not so much that you're like working through them, but just getting to that what the point you just mentioned is where you not fear them anymore.
yeah. And when you mentioned before how you had like explosive anger before to kind
Yeah.
of process,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Hatred. Yeah.
that, yeah, that's really fearful. Yeah, that's really scary when you first encounter that amount of
Yeah.
like anger and hatred.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
That's true.
yeah, it could be really alarming. So,
Yeah. It takes a while to kind of be okay with it.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Or fear. Who would have thought you can be okay with fear and just let fear be,
I know,
right?
right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, it's not a problem. It's just fear.
No,
Just a
exactly. Yeah.
sensation. It's just hilarious. At a certain point, we went for a walk, and I realized I don't know who I am anymore.
Oh, nice.
This thing of I just don't I don't have a an image of what I am, who I am. I
Mm,
don't know who I am.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It sounds like someone who's got Alzheimer's, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It's fine. This actually feels supernatural. It's like, oh, this is how infants are, or
Mm,
small children. They don't know and they don't care. It's not a
yep.
problem. It's just
Exactly.
natural sort of state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing. You've been very helpful for me around all this sort of stuff. Very helpful.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's amazing when it kind of just like it kind of clicks. It kind of makes sense that, oh
yeah.
my God,
Oh my,
like
yeah,
there's always just been space and like everything is just fine if it arises. It doesn't matter.
exactly. I mean, even death is like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Yeah,
that's like.
exactly. That is where the freedom is to have this okayness with death.
Yeah,
Because then, yeah, you're not afraid of life. You're not living in fear of um yeah, it's just not your life anymore.
it's not your life. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, Yeah. I feel like I don't know why I have an intuitive sense that this what I'm sort of noticing. I have an intuition that there's more to it. There's deeper. It can go deeper somehow, but I don't. I'm not. I'm not
Exactly.
ambitious about it. I just have that feeling. But, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. That's exactly how I felt. Like I sensed
Yeah.
that it could get emptier,
Yeah.
but I also didn't give a shit because, like, who cares?
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's just like the emotion. It doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah,
All right. All right. Yeah. It doesn't. It doesn't correspond to a me that cares. So it's like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. And now, so this is where it's obvious to you, like, oh, this is what surrender is because now it's not up to
Yeah.
me. It's just happening.
Yeah. 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 It's an interesting thing, surrender. It always sounds like there's a you or a me that has to surrender, and it doesn't sound like that.
It's not like that at all. No.
It just happens. You sort of notice that surrender is
Yeah.
for something. It's already surrendered.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Always has been. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just noticing. Yeah, that's another word I got from you. That's beautiful. Noticing. That's a beautiful word because there's
Yeah.
no effort in noticing.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and you haven't done anything to. You just notice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like unbelievably simple. It's like ridiculous.
super simple. I think that's a Buddhist term also. I think they use noticing.
Oh, do
Beautiful.
they? Oh,
I
nice.
think so. I'm not a Buddhist, but I believe so. I think I've read that. It's a
Oh.
beautiful term. Just beautiful.
Yeah, I like it more than awareness or witnessing just because there was so much spiritual concepts around that for
Yeah,
me. So then
yeah,
I
yeah.
started using noticing.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's great. Anyway, thanks for thanks for everything. It's just been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing.
Yeah, yeah, my pleasure. Bye.
Bye. Hey,
Hey,
Simon.
hey, Suzanne.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you. It was a lovely talk that we spoke
Thanks.
about today.
Yeah.
Um, um, I got a question. Um, a while ago, I sort of started really sort of, I don't know, not like I was, I just started noticing the whole sort of arising really of this sense of a self, right? And pretty quickly I realized it's very intermittent, right? It's not like obviously it's not a constant thing. And then I realized, oh, okay, so it's a little image that pops up of, oh, there's this person called Simon, and and now it doesn't matter if it's there or not for me. It just feels like, okay, whatever. I know it's not real. It's this image. I guess I'm just wondering, do you have that? Like you mentioned, oh, sometimes the your own conditioning will still arise, or I can't remember your words, but that must arise with some sort of vague sense of, oh, sorry, I'm going to change my view here so I can look at you better. There we go. Hi.
Hi.
um, yeah, so I'm just guessing that must be vaguely similar for you, right? That there must be some vague sense of this person, Suzanne, that pops up when you notice your own conditioning. Is that right?
Yeah, it's honestly really difficult to describe as I know you feel that too. It's really hard to distinguish and it doesn't even matter
Yeah,
because the sense that really cares if it's here or not in the same way, it just like
yeah.
doesn't really matter. It doesn't make this not this anymore.
No, right, right, right. Okay, yeah, for sure.
So, but there is sometimes an attempt to mend certain things or to figure out like what's the best. solution here,
Yeah.
to talk it out. And um,
Yeah.
in a way,
Yeah.
I talk very normally, you know?
Yeah.
I still complain about things and
Yeah.
um, yeah, so like overall, you can get a sense that there has been a dissolving for sure. And
Yeah.
there's uh, a lot of different little signs here and there that the identity has really lost power. You know,
Yeah.
it's not centrally controlling anymore.
Yeah. It's
It
not
comes
running the.
up as this phantom that, you know, yeah, I can still feel very embodied and um yeah, and life
Yeah.
just goes on normally, you know. This is like really normal and
Yeah.
ordinary,
Yeah.
non-special.
Yeah.
Um yeah, end of specialness. End of thinking that yeah, you're going to become a perfect human in any way, or
Yeah. Yeah.
like a human is actually fully allowed to be finally.
Yeah. 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 And that human might still have some kooky thoughts like, oh, I'm going to improve something. Yeah, within the context of that phantom, it might still think that or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And there's kind of a knowing like that's not going to really be the answer, but there
Yeah.
can still be an attempt to even get that, or
Yeah. It can still arise.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. That's how I feel. That's my experience. Like, okay.
And you see it in subtler and subtler levels too, like
Yeah.
how deeply conditioned we are in all of these different ways. I
Yeah.
mean, you're not really there, but there's so much conditioning around everything. So the conditioning of how you relate to the conditioning is also conditioning.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
patterns just running,
Totally.
you know?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was conditioned to hate and not hate, but really see a problem in my conditioning. I really thought it
Yeah.
was a problem. So that still arises sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like a little civil war within that conditioning. And yeah, I like this part. I don't like that part. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, there's a sense. Well, not a sense. Yeah, like you said, it's a phantom. You kind of you still notice it. Okay, this is a phantom. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
like it doesn't land anywhere or something.
Yeah. It's just more and more free to appear. Um, I
Yeah,
mean, even I guess subtle resistance can appear too, but that's also just conditioning.
yeah,
Um, yeah, because you know, if you want to put words to it, like I can still be awkward. I could still like not want to see certain people or prefer
yeah,
certain people or
yeah,
um yeah, everything's really free to arise.
yeah. Totally makes sense. Yeah. Hmm. I really last week, I think her name was Renee. She was saying that she had this sort of saw all of a sudden that, oh, I'm identified with awareness. And then
Mm.
she saw, oh, that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
And when she said that, it was like a light bulb went off for me. Like I was exactly like that. I was pretty much going around identified with awareness. I said, there's no identity of anything. It's it, yeah.
Yeah.
But that sense is there, like you've said it. You said, "Oh, I'm everything," and yeah, okay, but that's not really true either. You can't, you can't. I felt like, awareness is this nothingness, and I was felt like I was putting this label on it and going, "Oh, that's me." They're
Hmm.
trying to hang a sign on air or something. It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Yeah, I mean,
Lordy.
I did that for years and I had no idea.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then one day you kind of went, oh, wait a minute.
It took me a while. Yeah. I think I heard the radical message and then it slowly the practices of resting as awareness started to be questioned. Like, why am
Yeah.
I doing that
Yeah.
exactly?
Right, right, right.
And then after a while, I think I saw that it gave me a lot of safety, somewhere to really
Yes,
energetically
totally.
land.
Totally. Because it's this wonderful place to be
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
still be.
Exactly. And yeah, yeah. And when I say that, it's like when you don't really have that to land, then the discomfort can come up because
Yeah.
otherwise
Yeah.
it's like underneath the surface and you have no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
And it keeps separation a little feeling more real because
Yeah.
you're not really uncovering what's underneath the identity because it's just fully there, you know?
Still functioning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thinner or lighter or something, but still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely felt, well, since last week, since Renee's pointed that, we talked about it actually after you jumped out of the meeting. We all talked about it a little bit. It was very lovely.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
yeah. Yeah. It definitely feels sort of kind of funkier since since then, but it doesn't matter.
Mm,
Like, okay. I mean, they're not even okay. It's just, I don't know. I don't, there's no problem.
nice.
Very funny. Who would have guessed now this whole awakening enlightenment business that, you think, oh, of course, we all think, oh, I'm going to reach to some magical, beautiful place, but actually it's more just the destruction of all our objections to everything
Mm-hmm.
or collapsing and seeing through all our objections that they're
Yeah.
made up. Your word, made up.
Yeah.
A funny thing. It's not what's advertised.
It's not what?
What's advertised,
Yeah. Oh no,
right?
not at all.
It's very false advertising.
Very false. Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
but maybe that's the only way to get someone in the door.
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
yeah.
I don't know.
It's just it's very, very, very misleading. I feel like, closer to the radical message is a little less misleading because they're not really acting like a special something. I
Yeah,
mean, there could still be a projection that they're a speaker and they know
yeah,
something and they're
yeah,
still presenting something,
yeah.
but it's less so than spiritual people because
Yes.
they actually act sort of holy. They don't
No,
really show their
absolutely. It's
humanness,
so
you know?
funny you're saying that. 100%. This week I've been watching a few YouTube things and different people. Now there's seems to be a tidal wave of people waking up, and I was like, I got a little grossed out. I felt like, oh, everybody's a little special. And it's
Mhm.
like, what? That's not true. Why are they doing that? And just what you're saying is,
Yeah, because
uh,
yeah, if I had to guess, like there's still identification
yeah,
there.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I felt that at certain points. I felt like, wow, this is special, and I'm special, and all that stuff. So,
And you'll be special if you keep following me and doing these practices. And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But I mean, whatever. It's like it got me this far in a way.
yeah,
Um, I guess, in the story, it got me a
yeah,
little,
yeah,
yeah, closer. Meaning I just tried more stuff and saw that it wasn't it, basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's kind of, yeah, that's almost what the whole process is. Try a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff and see it's not it.
Like exhausting the seeking, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. They're exhausting or just trying everything. Like if you try everything that you can think of, and they just
Exactly.
kind of prove, well, it's a funny thing because it's not that they just failed. They by trying, you actually see through them, right? There's a seeing through, and that's sort of, oh, there's some recognition of something. Like, oh, I wasn't seeing this correctly. And that just happens over and over and over and over. Seems like that's part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
And then it could get really accelerated.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I feel like I was in the little kids pool in spirituality, but now it's just so accelerated, like
yeah,
things are a lot faster to drop away, and then things become so much more obvious because there's just more emptiness and less
yeah,
identification. So
yeah,
when tightness does come up, it's just really obvious. And
yeah. And it's just tightness.
yeah, and then yeah, it
Right.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm going to experience tightness now. Oh, that's what tightness feels like.
Yeah.
Something. Or whatever, contraction or whatever. Oh, well, okay then.
Yeah. It's funny because I felt like I was just oscillating between like, oh, this is horrible, and then like, oh, this is really nice, and then more emptiness. And then it just kept oscillating. And
Yeah, yeah,
now it's, yeah, yeah, it's hard to say anything about it really because
yeah,
there's
yeah.
nowhere to land.
Yeah, it's all of that probably. I mean, it's my experience for my, it's all of that, like oscillation and emptiness and okay, you know,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. You can
None
say
of it,
you're,
none of it feels particularly real or anything.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I kind of felt like I was more, you can say, along for the ride, but then, even that concept goes because there's no one along for the ride.
No, 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 right. Yeah, it's very strange. Strange thing.
Yeah, it's crazy that this can happen.
It is crazy that this can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like it's like something turning inside out and looking at itself from the inside and like, what, wait, what? Life looking at itself from the inside or something. Like a wave all of a sudden decides to turn into itself and look like, what?
That's nice.
And finds out that it's ocean and nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Right. Okay. I don't know.
That's nice. Yeah. It's always been this. Oh, what?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Wait, what? Yeah. Oh my God. That's strange. Huh. Fun thing to do with a life, though.
Yeah, guess so.
Oh, thanks, my dear. Nice talking with you.
Yeah. Nice to see you, Simon.
Nice to see you. Bye.
Bye.